Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Mace. I'm coming to you from Canada. This video is about things she hates about Canada, things I hate about Canada after 2 years of living in Europe. This will be interesting. I'm curious, what they'll be. There's certainly things that are not great about Canada. There's things that are not great about kind of anywhere that you live. If I had to think about things that I dislike about Canada, of course it's YouTube, so we need to use hate in the titles. Don't forget. That's just simply reality, which is totally fine. Things I dislike about Canada. Probably our lack of cycling infrastructure, at least in more rural areas or smaller towns. The opioid epidemic has been really difficult and hard kind of to witness. A lot of people struggling, and I don't really know. We don't even know as a society what the answers are. We're still working on that. How do we support these people? How do we support these human beings to, how do we humanely get these people or give them the best shot that we can to get on their feet? I don't know. There's a lot of models that have been tried and things aren't necessarily working. Things I also dislike, probably price of gas, inflation. These things aren't necessarily isolated to Canada. So there's that. But yeah, in my particular town, I do wish we had better cycling infrastructure. And other than that, I really quite love where we live. I'm really lucky to live here. I live on the ocean. 10 minutes the other way, I'm at the lake. Another 10 minutes, I'm on top of a mountain. I can fish. I can go to work I can work in the daytime. Go fish after work, catch a fish, make dinner. We got it pretty good here. And we always joke, hey, this is the worst place to live. The absolute worst. You would never want to move here. It's terrible. Trust me, it's terrible. Because we don't want, eventually people are going to catch on and be like, wow, that place is beautiful. I don't want to live in a congested concrete jungle anymore. I don't know. All right. I like the pace of life here. It's very relaxed. Go out in nature, chill, no phones, no hustle and bustle, no rat race. Just chill. Be your best self. Live. All right, let's check this out. Things I hate about Canada.
I spent the past 2 years in Portugal, and recently I went back to Canada, and some things really surprised me, or should I say, shocked me. I've already filmed a video about things I love about Canada after 2 years of living in Europe. So today we're talking about things I hate about Canada after 2 years of living in Europe.
Okay,
and don't get me wrong, I love Canada, I love Montreal, but some things, they just make me eek. And by the way, let's not forget, this is my personal opinion that might be different from yours. Please be respectful in the comments. The first thing I really hate about, not Canada, but Montreal in particular, is the dry water. I forgot what it is to use a moisturizer 24/7. Literally, for my face, for my hands.
The dry water, I'm not
on my lips, because everything is super dry. And water in Montreal is good, depending on where you live. You can drink it from your tap, but for my face, for my skin, it is just annoying. That's what I'm gonna say. My hair though is fine, so I don't know. It's just the skin that doesn't like the Montreal water. The next one is price.
So I'm a typical man. I don't know really what she's talking about with the dry water thing. I don't know about the hair or the skin. I don't know. I don't use skin products or fancy hair products. I'll use whatever is available to me.
Prices and tips. I've heard a lot from my friends that prices have gone up in Canada. It's just ridiculous. You pay $7
in Canada, everywhere
for a carton of milk. And yeah, that's the case. But that's okay because it's, inflation. It didn't really surprise me. But what surprised me is the tipping situation, which in my opinion is just
ridiculous.
What is going on? Yeah, we get it. COVID, we all been impacted, stuff like that. But 20% tip for a bottle of water that you buy? Really?
Okay, nobody's tipping 20% for a bottle of water. I don't know where she's getting that from. Maybe if you're at a restaurant, like it depends what type of service that you're receiving and what type of service that you receive at that service. You don't just tip for no reason. If you receive adequate service, there are certain places where, yeah, you better probably tip. I remember when I was in Montreal one time and I was a young, naive kid and I bought a drink and, you know, the bartender actually like approached me and was like, hey, you didn't tip. It was kind of weird. I was taken aback, but yeah, I don't know. But that was at a nightclub.
Get it? I don't mind
However, we've all seen the memes about, you know, you're going to the liquor store, you're going through Subway, and there's like a tip option. It's like, really?
Even tips when you receive some kind of a service. You go out for a dinner and there is a waiter working, you know, going back and forth. Sure, but when you get literally a coffee and the minimum percentage is 18, that's literally your job to make a coffee. I'm okay.
I'm not tipping at like Starbucks or McDonald's. Like I'm not tipping. Yeah. A lot of the employees now, though, they'll say to you, or they'll even do it. They'll do it for you. They'll just say, "Make sure you press 1," which skips the tip option, which is nice, right? They'll just say, "Oh, press 1," and then you're good to go. Like they don't make you feel guilty or anything about it.
Okay with tipping, but 20-25%? No, not happening. The next thing that I realize I don't miss is parking in Montreal. First of all, impossible to find. Second of all, these signs. If you don't know what I'm talking about, here's a Montreal parking sign and tell me if I can park here in this specific day you're watching the video. Yeah. After living for some time in Montreal, I've personally mastered the parking situation.
Listen, parking in any metropolitan area, I feel, is a gong show. It's stressful. I don't like it, at least from my experience. Maybe that's because I'm from a small town. I live in a small town, and parking is never an issue. It's not something that I think about. But when I have to go to Vancouver or Toronto or Seattle, it's like, where are we going to park the car, and how much do we have to pay to park it?
But if you're new to the city, I found the app called Parky AI that helps you park in Montreal. And it is just amazing. I honestly just walk around the city and scan those signs and see how good is my knowledge of the parking signs, because sometimes you can have 5 signs and it's like, yes, you can, no, you can, maybe yes, well, depending on the date, depending on the day. And you're like,
depending on the hour, depending on the day,
another
depending
thing
on the
that I don't like
weather.
about Canada, or should I say Montreal, is the workout hours. I'm used to living in Europe, working with Canada. So my morning is for my workouts, breakfast, you know, my things. First of all, here, my day starts with everybody else. But the second thing is,
they don't believe how toxic this is.
I'm somewhat confused about this point.
The workouts, for example, I like cycling. I checked all the studios here nearby. All cycling classes are either at 7 a.m. or at 6 p.m. There is nothing in between. There might be some classes at noon, but that's it. Like, it's 7, 12.
I can't relate to this one because I don't care, because I don't go to cycling classes. I go to the gym. I have a 24-hour gym. It's great. And you just go there and use the speed bike in the gym. You don't need to do a class. I mean,
6. And I'm like, where are the classes at 10 a.m., 11 a.m.,
if you
what's
like
happening?
classes, though,
but
that's her prerogative.
That's not the case for Toronto, because I wanted to go cycling in Toronto, and there's a studio called Sweat and Tonic, and they would have classes all day long. So I think it's only Montreal, maybe because people just have things to do during work hours. But yeah, that was a surprise for me. I was like, well, you can go, you know, work out any time of the day, but turned out you cannot. Another thing that actually shocked me when I came back to Canada, and it's the amount of homeless people. After COVID, we can notice an increase in homeless people, and yeah, that makes sense. But what I've always thought, that homeless people would prefer to live in a milder / warmer climate like San Francisco, Vancouver. So naturally,
yeah, Vancouver. She got that right.
I thought Portugal's warm. They're gonna be more or just a lot of homeless people. However, that is not the case. In Lisbon, I've seen homeless people like only maybe next to railway stations. That's it. In Montreal now, you walk downtown, lots of homeless people. But for example, they used to live under the bridges. There was like a campsite, I guess. I don't know what you call it. Now it's gone. So I feel like those people just moved downtown. That's it. There's no bottom line or anything. They just migrated downtown and it's more visible now. One of the things that I find challenging about Canada is the electricity. So when we were moving from Canada to Portugal, I had to sell all my appliances, get all the adapters, stuff like that. And now we're coming from Portugal back to Canada for a visit. People who ask me if we moved back. No, we did not move back. We are just visiting. So sometimes appliances might take a bit longer to charge. I mean, it's not super noticeable. It's not like your phone used to charge in 10 minutes. Now it's like 1 hour. But still, it's not a big deal, but sometimes it's super inconvenient, especially if you have your appliances with a European plug and then you need to switch to an American one. But also here's the thing, before traveling anywhere, check if your devices support the other electricity, because some of the devices just don't support other electricity. When we were moving, I had to sell all my Dyson stuff because it does not support 220. It's 2023. What do you mean it doesn't support 220? Dyson, hello, can you please work on this situation? And the best part, I messaged Dyson and they're like, well, sell your old hairdryer and buy a new one. Customer service. The next thing,
I don't have much to comment on the electricity one. I don't really understand. I'm too insulated. I live in my own world, I guess. And I don't really, first world problems. She even said it's not like a big deal. It's a slight inconvenience, but.
I used to hate while living here, still hate, and it is construction. The amount of construction in Canada increases year by year. I've spent 6 years in Canada and the construction in Montreal never stopped. On top of building condos, on top of repairing the roads, they're building REM now, which is a train system here in Montreal. And it's a good thing. Train is super convenient. You can take it from the airport, get to downtown Montreal in 20 minutes. Perfect. But the amount of noise, the amount of dust and garbage is just ridiculous. Also in Lisbon, I think I've seen construction once and like that's it. In Montreal, you're literally navigating through those cones because construction is everywhere. I mean, it's good, it's good. The city is developing and hopefully one day my grandkids see Canada without construction, but...
McGill, that's a good university. Yeah, construction is what it is. I always think like spring, summertime, like, yeah, we're gonna start getting road paving projects and infrastructure projects getting completed, and you better learn how to take an alternate route. You better learn where the detour is, or else you're waiting in traffic. Yeah, it sucks, but I feel like this one is somewhat anecdotal. Like there has to be construction in most modern metropolitan cities. Like there's going to be constant construction of things. They're bustling, hustling cities.
But I'm not quite sure about that. After living in Portugal for 2 years, I forgot that insects exist. I came back
Go to northern Alberta in the summertime. You'll love it.
to Montreal and I was like, oh my God. First of all those mosquitoes. Second of all, spiders. In Lisbon, insects just don't live. I think the winds and the climate in general, no. Like our balcony is perfectly clean. There is no bug. No, nothing. I forgot what it is to spray your balcony every spring so spiders do not, live on your balcony. And I know insects are good for the environment, stuff like that, but I personally don't do insects. I don't like that. However, in Portugal, we have cockroaches like this, and they fly. So I don't know which ones I like better, the cockroaches or the spiders. And the next one is my favorite. I completely forgot that scam calls exist until I came back to Canada because I started receiving those calls being like, hello, this is an automated system, blah, blah, blah. In Portugal, in 2 years, guess how many?
I haven't been getting many scam calls lately, but yeah, they're certainly incredibly annoying. I remember for a while they're the ones they would call you and say, hello, you are, like they would say, hello, you have outstanding warrant and charges. If you do not call back this number, you will be arrested. Da, da, da. It's like, hang up, block number. But yeah, it's annoying. I typically don't even pick up the phone. Could be my mother calling and I don't pick up the phone. Like, yeah.
many scam calls I got? Like 2, and those
I would
were
like to go to
survey
Portugal,
calls.
though.
In Canada, I thought
It's almost
I
like more of
blocked
a
pretty
2
much
years of
all
living in
numbers, yet I still get a
Portugal.
call like once a week. And if you
Not
haven't seen
Europe.
it already, I've made a video about scammers in Canada. Please watch it after this video so you don't fall for those traps, because when I just moved to Canada, I almost fell for that. I was like, oh my god, they're gonna deport me, it's social insurance calling me, they want like blah blah blah. Watch the video. And this is it for today. I wouldn't say these things interfere with my day-to-day life. I hate them so much that I wouldn't like stay in Canada or like move to Canada in the first place. Those things you can live with them. They're not like super But yeah, these things surprised me a lot when I came back, because I honestly forgot about many of them, like spiders and construction. If you just moved to Canada or you live in Canada, let me know what you hate about it, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
One of the great challenges in this world.
I don't know if I really hate anything about Canada, but things could be better. And like, what's the best country to live in the world? I don't know. But it's interesting where you grow up and people that move away and people that don't, and depends what your ambitions are and what you kind of want out of life. But if you're happy where you're at, then you're good to go, right? So, all right. See you all in the next one. Make sure to leave a comment down below for the old algorithm, and we'll see you soon. Peace.